Morning all, and welcome to Sunday Q&A. This monumentous occasion. Thanks very much to everybody out there. 5,000 subs, well done. So we're going to be opening with the Aren't I Great part of the show. See, the thing is, obviously I've done a video and everybody replies to the videos, the 5,000 subs, and I said thank you very much, and everybody said you're welcome. So now the problem is, either I don't read out your comments, in which case it's a bit like, hey Shirley, I made a comment, it didn't even bother to read it out. It's a bit ungrateful, isn't it? Or I read out your comments that all tell me I'm great. I'm going to do my best to cut. I'm not going to do all of them. I want to say thank you very much to everybody who's commented. And I just put a few random ones down because there were some other bits and pieces in there. But I am very humbled and very grateful. Thank you all very much. So moving on as quickly as we can with the comments. Steve Athers says, Pete, you're a normal geezer that talks absolute common sense and a breath of fresh air, matey. Thanks, Steve. He said, I'm a class 1 driver for a medical company. As I've said before, I have no intention of being a career driver. This is kind of why I like this one. But listening to your channel was really positive instead of the rubbish interviews that the news gives out a lot. Maybe you should go on the BBC telling how it is instead of doom and gloom. Now, the reason I read this one out is I always thought this would be a really good idea for a TV show, which is, like at 6, the 6 o'clock news with Nicholas Witchell. That's probably a long time ago now. Don't watch that much TV. Like the Big Breakfast was really great when you didn't have to watch boring TV with Frank Boff and someone sitting on a sofa doing interviews with someone you're not interested in, and still we had Zig and Zag and Chris Evans. Wouldn't it be great if at like 6 o'clock at night there was an alternative news channel on, say, like BBC Two or Channel 4 or anything, because there's a million channels out there now, that actually told all the good stories that happened during the day? Because I'm sure lots of good things happen on a daily basis. Wouldn't it be wonderful to sit down and watch the news and say, someone today got an award, someone today did really well, that kind of thing, So probably won't happen. If anyone does want to make it, I'm up. I'm useless at reading auto cues though, absolutely terrible. So I'll probably have to do it like this, but as long as you're cool with that, I'm fine. Mark Newman, he said, thanks very much for your help you gave me when you started out. The forums provide still assist us now. Congratulations. Right, Mark's point here, again, it's not just all about me. This is it's kind of just, these things evolve, and it's kind of evolved as a forum where I can ask you the questions that I don't know, you can ask me the questions that I don't know. I will do my best to answer them, but if I can't, I'm very, very lucky and very, very grateful to have a load of you people out there, the wise guys that know, and there's going to be a load of you coming up today, that know much better than me. So, Mark, thank you very much for your comment. Mario says, well done, Pete. You're doing a great job. You've helped a lot of people, including myself, finding the right way onto the CX. Mario, this is the other reason I do it. It's the fact when people turn around, and I think we'll go on a little bit. Ian McBride says, when will the mugs and T-shirts start? If I ever do T-shirts, you know what's going to be on the T-shirt, don't you? that photo is full of me everywhere. Blatant bit of plugging for the book there, by the way. Shall I Go Mum by Peter Coth. Marvellous read. Available to buy from Amazon, as is the new novel, The Unbelievables. In fact, I'm going to go straight to the conclusion, as the Urban Trucker says. Things to do while waiting, because we did one on things to do. We're going to do one on things to do while waiting on a bay. I've just started reading an excellent book that I highly recommended by a wonderful author, Mr. Peter Coth. You may have heard of him. Much more self-congratulatory praises. My wife says self-praise is no praise at all. But it's a good novel. Really good, the new one, The Unbelievables by Peter Coth, available to buy on Amazon. Writing the sequel as we speak. It's a trilogy. He said, you've taken a lot of time to do these videos, short videos, and they add up. Here they do. I've got hundreds of them now. Not only have you helped many people, but you started a little community of fellow brothers and sisters in the courier driver business, starting them up with small yet useful details that they wouldn't have even thought of. What I call darkness and light. You brought them through the darkness and shed light on them. Top guy, Pete, thank you. And that's kind of the plan. I just want everyone to be happy. And I say the best thing about it, the money's great. Don't get me wrong. With the Circuit Mob sponsoring me as well, the money is very handy. And from a man who you can go back and watch the first video when I started, I was kicked out of the house. But the best bit, I would say you could keep all the money. The best bit is when people turn up and say, I hated my life. Then I watched your videos. Now I've got a van and I love it. And that's just the best. But anyway, thanks. Dave Cosy says, Pete, don't thank us, we should be thanking you, mate. You're not hard selling, you're not false. You're every bloke doing an everyday job, and you're a pleasure to watch. Dave, thanks very much, my friend. Domain name guy says, you're just down to earth, which is why people watch your videos. You have filled a gap in the market because not everyone wants to drive for a living or wants to be a Class 2 or Class 1 driver. Thousands of drivers prefer driving vans or 7.5 tonnes. You cater for that market. Congratulations on your 5,000 subscribers. Domain name guy, a regular guy who constantly comments, and again, one of the people that knows far more than me about this stuff. Tony Mason, thanks Pete, glad you hit the 5,000. I bought a lorry and signed up to the HX after seeing your video, so help me for sure. See, this is my point again. You kind of should be, people have said, as it comes up, again, done it recently, that's extra competition for you. Why are you doing this? I don't see it that way. It's never worked out that way. It's not like Tony signed up and as a result of which I can't get any jobs. I'm still getting jobs. And I always go, if you get, there's a geezer actually starting, I spoke to him on the phone, and he's starting in a lorry in Milton Keynes. I said, when you're up and running, give us a call back, because if we haven't got any jobs that we can't cover, we'll give you a bell, and then you can, I think better together, always better together. And the final word goes to Gary. Thanks again for listening, if you're still listening, because it's a little bit like everyone look at me, I'm great. Gary said, I always wanted to be an owner driver, but this is my favourite actually, Gary. But with 4, soon to be 5 kids, I never had the confidence to take the plunge until your videos. Now I'll stop at this point. I would have said, if you'd have rung me and spoke to me, I'd have gone 4 kids. Gary, I can't in all honesty recommend it to you. You've got responsibilities, but he didn't. Instead, he took the plunge. He said, I now work for myself. Whenever I want, I'm earning more money than any job I've ever had, after expenses, etc. And I get to be home with my kids when I, brackets, or they, dad taxes, want. You gave me that confidence for the push, Pete. Thank you so much. Gary, that is worth everything. I'm just pleased for you, my friend. If you can make someone's life better, do. Because if we all work like that, what a wonderful world it would be. So, once again, thank you all. I am humbled and very, very grateful. On the subject of which, we're now expanding the empire. Not the Van Gogh empire. I am still waiting on the operators from Coventry. I sent them an email last week. I rang them during the week because I've got to talk about going limited, because we're not limited, and if we don't go limited, it's going to cost us a load of money in tax. So we've got to work out how you can change your operators to limited. It's not too much of a palaver. What they're really concerned about is who the directors are going to be. So that shouldn't really be an issue because I'm kind of clean, so that's good. But also, the expansion of the empire. There's this thing on YouTube. I think YouTube is trying to catch up with the TikTok mob, and it's called YouTube Shorts. And apparently, and I won't lie to you, it's a good way of getting extra sort of traffic towards your channel. And I'm not adverse to getting extra traffic towards a channel, because more adverts is more money, more comments, more help. I'm just, to me, it's a win-win all the way around. Also, YouTube short videos, it's easy for you to say, have got to be less than 1 minute long. So what I thought about it, and I thought, like for example, I'm going to change the handbrake cover on my car because it's all a bit painted, and I've got a chromey carbon fibre looking one. Looks nice. And so you go on the videos, and the amount of times where it'll go, there's a 5-minute video, and it's Chad's Auto Shop. Da, da, da. Hi, I'm Chad. I'm Chad's Auto Shop. And then there's a sort of fancy, sort of graphic-y thing. Da, da, da. And then Chad talks to you for 15 minutes about, changing the handbrake on your car. Handbrakes on cars are very important. What you need is a handbrake in your car. And the way handbrake, I don't need none of this, Chad. Just cut to the chase, mate. I just want to see the bit where you take the handbrake cover off. So you scroll with a bit at the bottom, you scroll back again, you try and find it. And there's a load of stuff out there like the strap winder, how to do up ratchet straps, how to undo ratchet straps, all that kind of stuff, which you can do in the Janet and John version in less than a minute. So if someone wants to watch, go, I can't get the strap off, I don't know how to do it. Hang on a second, there's a video, let's click, boom. Oh, you do it like that. So I'm going to do a load. And because they are less than 1 minute long, I can make them a lot quicker. It doesn't take, as you can see with my amazing editing skills, it doesn't take me that long to make these videos anyway. And then B, and this is the kicker, because they're like a less minute long, and it's also tied in with a kid, this is going to become more apparent in the future, I can upload them to Instagram and TikTok. I said TikTok to Molly. She went, how old are you? Well, you 12. But they're on there. There's going to be, I've done a few already. They're coming onto YouTube soon, probably starting next week. But if you want to make a start, you can, if you type Pete underscore the underscore courier underscore driver into either Instagram or into TikTok, I've already made a start. There's 5 on there, which will, if you don't worry, because they're going to come onto YouTube anyway. But if you want to see them early, or if you are on Insta, or if you're on TikTok, or you think so might be useful, yeah, there they are. I'll do TikTok. I might do little dancing videos. You know, whatever. Can't do that way. Can't do that way. Change your age there, Pete. Now, back to normal. I might do a thing at the beginning. Anybody who wants to skip all the nonsense, just go to 10 minutes 46. I'm not going to do that. I would if I had, you'd be here right now. Increments in waiting time. As my mate Dave the Chris said, nicest guy I've ever met, the most valuable thing we get. Time is the most valuable thing we get. Time is money. Be lucky. He's right. It is the most valuable thing you're going to get. Here for a good time, not a long time. Rock God 23 says this was to do with the fact that, you know, if you're on site for like, if you're in a van and your waiting time is say £20 an hour and you're there for 50 minutes, that's 20 minutes free plus 30 minutes. Should you charge them a tenner? Should you try and get the 20 quid? Should you charge them anything? Rock God 23 says, remember, most customers are happy to pay waiting time, so it's better to work with your customer getting the price that you're both happy with. Don't treat it as an argument on the phone with silly demands. Once negotiated amicably, you're more likely to get work further on down the line. They won't want to deal with that bloke shouting demands down the phone. I agree with most of that. I don't think everyone's particularly happy about paying waiting time because it's just one of those things. No one's happy about it. It's like no one's happy about the fact that they've got to hoover or load the dishwasher. But we're prepared to do it because we know it has to be done. But he's dead right on the fact you want to be amicable. You don't want an argument. An argument is only going to stop you getting work in the future. And also, they're less likely to pay it. The problem is, if you put their back up, they're a bit like no. But if you can come in reasonably, give them plenty of warning. I've been here for 10 minutes. I've got it. They can't find it. I'm hoping they're going to find it. Try to be reasonable. Try to have a laugh. Try to get on with the chipper. That way, you've got much more chance of getting the money. And also, everybody's happy. Nobody wants grief in their day. The Bearded Traveller, he says, I am watching this and starting to think that I'm a bit cheap. I'm in a long wheelbase van and I charge £15 an hour waiting time after the hour has passed. Also, would be good to know your opinion on price per mile now that diesel's gone up 20p a litre. Cheers. Yeah, you are too cheap. Firstly, the bit that scares me after the hour has passed. Hours only apply to anything over 3.5 tonne. So that's 7.5 tonnes, 18 tonnes, 26 tonnes Arctics. If you're in a van, 20 minutes. You want to be loaded within 20 minutes. And £15, because you could be on site for 2 hours and then get an extra 15 quid. In a van, you're looking at 3 hours to do a job. So it's like £15. So that would be like, your job would be worth £22.50, and that just doesn't compute. I personally, on a long wheelbase van, would be looking to charge £20 an hour waiting time after the first 20 minutes. And I think that's par for the course. That would be what most shippers would expect. That's what most people in long wheelbases charge, as is my understanding. Steve Campbell, the nefarious Steve Campbell, is back on the scene again. He says the funeral charges charge waiting time. It's just I'm on a prepaid plan and they're already paid. Yeah, Steve, the way you're going, mate, I don't think there's any chance of you overrunning in waiting time. But I hope that's not the case because I would truly miss your comments. Also, he says I'm in Downham Market because this was Friday. I was in Ely. I put it in my map. And it was an hour away from me, and I had an hour to get to my next pickup in Milton Keynes. I was supposed to be picking up between 3 and 4. I got it at 3. But in another world, mate, I'd have rung you. I'd have come, right, I'm coming. We're having a cup of tea. We will meet. Well, a lot of you guys, one day we will meet. Right, then there was the video on where do I find the time to make the videos. Right, now, I have suffered from insomnia this morning. I woke up at 2:30. So I then done all the comments and printed them out and then uploaded the stuff to the website because I've got a website with all these videos on for what it's worth and done a load of other stuff on the computer. Then I went to bed and then woke up at this now, like 8:30, by my wife, the delivery driver. Love delivery drivers. Salt of the earth, wonderful people. The guys are banging on the door because she's gone and bought another plant. Enough already. Where are you going to put it? She tells me that she can't put it, it's got to go near the window because otherwise it will die because it hasn't got enough light. We haven't actually got any more space near the window. Stop buying plants. Although I do like the plants. I'm kind of, I feel like George of the Jungle in here. Watch out for that tree, it's a cactus. Yes, where do I find the time? Gareth Croft. He says, when I was in Wales, I was right near his house. Waves. Well, next time, Gareth. Sure, I'll come up again. I'll give you a shout. We'll have a cup of tea. They make me a cup of tea. Lovely people in the conference centre. Very nice. Lee Westcott. Because he said Sean Richards put it up, and once again, no disrespect to Sean, he put it up with a couple of LOLs. It wasn't a nasty comment. It was where do you find the time to do it? And Sean's obviously a multi-drop driver. Also, we've got one coming up on the multi-drop this week, I think, and that's kind of to do with the circuit mod because I said I'd do them one a month and stuff like that. But it's again once a month. I said I would do a dedicated video to multi-drop drivers. So thanks for all your comments. There's a few coming up today which I'm going to repeat. Anyhow. Sean Richards, Lee Westcott says, Sean Richards, answer your own question. You're saying you're a multi-drop driver, not as all delivery drivers have to bang out hundreds of deliveries a day. Well, no, we don't. As I do large items, deliveries like furniture, an average of 3 to 4 a day with a 10-mile radius, generally finishing by 1 o'clock in the afternoon and still make more money than most multi-drop drivers. Lee, I'd be curious to know, are you doing like the DFS or something like that? Because we used to do them. You're getting good if you're only doing 3 and 4. They used to make us do 3 and 4 and then come back for the second run. Having said that, the day's run was worth something like I think it was 432 quid with the VAT, So I guess maybe you'd only have to do 1 run. And you don't get me wrong, it would take you all day. We'd start loading at 5 in the morning, and we'd normally be done by about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. You're good if it's lucky. Some of the sofas took forever to build. Some of them are a bit difficult to find. A lot of the biggest problem with furniture delivery I found is trying to get the sofas through the door. You can guarantee that people with the smallest houses buy the biggest sofas. Why? But anyhow, Dave Cuzzy said, I've seen both sides, multi-drop with no time to breathe, let alone make a video, early starts, lots of drop, eat dinner, fall asleep before EastEnders, wake up again. Then I drive for a small family-run distribution firm and, mate, what a difference it makes. His words. Time to stop, same if not better money, no nagging missus, plus I'm still awake for the news at 10. Yeah, you're right. The multi-drop, it's very, very difficult. The thing we've all got to be aware of, guys, it's not always that easy for other people to jump in the courier thing. If a lot of them don't have the scratch up front to run them for 2 months, and it's just easy entry. Argos, Hermes, Amazon, that kind of stuff. It's just sign here and you go. So sometimes a lot of people do it as a way to build into this. But yeah, I agree with everything you say. If you are doing the multi-drop, my hat goes off to you. Well done, you. And thank you very much, because the selfie stick with it is holding the phone that I'm recording this video on was delivered by one of you guys. And that plant. Domain name guy. He had 20. He was quite happy. Multi-drop is all about pace and planning your own day properly to make sure you plan for a dinner break, etc. It only takes 5 minutes to make a video. Just pull your phone out and go on the camera app, click record, waffle for 5 minutes, and then go to your YouTube account and click upload. Add a title about your waffle, press upload the video, and the upload will carry on while you're making your deliveries, etc. Yeah, I mean, in fairness, it takes 1 minute to make a video now with your YouTube shorts. You guys might want to jump on it if anyone's out there. Why not? I'll quite happily, I'll quite happily... It's gone funny. I've slept in it again. I'll quite happily sort of promote anyone who's doing it. I've always said I'll do that one as well. If you're doing something out there, just give me a shout, Pete. I'm doing the videos. If I can do cards, I will sort of go have a look at this guy. 1 minute it takes now. And yeah, he's right. A lot of people out there, like the kids doing videos now, we'll cover that in future, not too far in the future, I think. And my mate Nick at London Creative, he does a lot of videos. Some of it's about London Cemetery, some of it's about climbing. He does a lot of stuff that really helps me, because it helps me with my computer side of things, because I'm not Mr. Tech. And they spend a lot of time, their time and effort editing it and speeding it up and putting the music on. And they're teaching me how to do this kind of stuff. But I tend to just press the red button, record, talk some nonsense, and then upload it, and he's dead right. That's all I do. But yeah, however you do it, you can do it. It's Christopher Says. He said, he did one because we're talking about the multi-drop out. I did one on, is it the Road Warrior, the Road Route Fire, I can remember the name of it. He said, this is the second best app. What is the first? The first is the mob that I recommend, which is Circuit. As Ian Coyne says, Circuit is very good. It is very good. It is the Rolls Royce of multi-drop apps. And as with the Rolls Royce, it's a little bit dearer than the other, but as I've said many times before, and I stand by this, I think it is well worth the extra money. So we'll do a little link to your channel if you're interested. Right. Cabotage, which sounds a bit like cabbage, which is why I made the very poor Cracker Jack contemporary reference to the 18-25-year-old joke. Hello, cat. Cabotage is running your trucks in someone else's country, basically, and you're not allowed to do it. So Nick at London Creative says, guy's got his own channel out there. He says, so how did my uncle's haulage company that my dad drove for run fleets of Arctic and flatbeds in the 70s to the 90s, driving to Spain and other European countries, picking up fruit and driving it back? And he says, does anyone remember RF Lewin Transport? Yeah, that's not cabotage. You're allowed to do that. You're allowed to drive to someone else's country, drop the goods off, then drive somewhere else in the country, pick the goods up and drive back again. What you're not allowed to do is to on Monday morning drive to someone else's country, spend all day, all week running around in that country, picking up and delivering loads, and then on Friday drive back again. That's kind of the Janet and John version again. Or, more specifically, is my mate Nick, the urban trucker, who knows about this stuff. He knows about loads of stuff. He's brilliant. He said, I'm just going to read this, okay? Cabotage rules in the rest of Europe and before the British government changed them today. Cabotage is the collection and delivery of goods within the country other than the one where the haulier is licensed. If you're a non-UK operator's licence, then you can only do, and this is where I got it wrong, 3 internal movements in the following 7 days, having completed a loaded international journey. However, it gets a bit more involved with the different rules on what you can and cannot do internally. You also need EMCT permits as well. Don't know what that is. You might want to come back to me on that one, Nick. A side note, back in the 90s and early 2000s, some British hauliers registered their trucks abroad, mainly in Holland. All you needed was an address in the country of your choice. It was done to avoid the crippling road tax at the time that was put on HGVs. Because I remember road tax, like on the big motors, being like £1,000 a year. And now it's like normal tax. Well, I'm probably wrong on that one. I'm wrong on everything else. It was not uncommon to see British haulers running on Dutch plates. This was known as flagging out. This came to an end in the 2000s after the fuel protests forced the government into helping hauliers by massively reducing the VED on trucks. Don't know what that is either. Cabotage rules when they tighten up, and a vignette scheme required all lorries, including those from overseas, to pay tax to use British roads. British hauliers have to operate under the strictest rules for vehicle maintenance and roadworthiness in Europe and jump through massive hoops to get an operator's licence in the first place. It's an absolute joke to change the cabotage rules. And tell me about it, because I know how many hoops I've had to jump through still to get an operator's licence and to try to get the second one, and then to turn around to everybody else out there and go, yeah, come in and help yourself. Like I say, it's probably not going to make that much difference to me because I'm a small-time Charlie, but if I was like proper, I would be fuming right now. I'd be spitting blood. He also goes on to say, W2F, I can't believe the British government has done this. The implications could and probably will be on British hauliers have a massive detrimental effect on us. Also, there was another guy who passed the comment this morning, which I didn't get down to write it down, and I can't look because I was on my phone, I'm recording. He said exactly the same thing. So if I don't get to read that one out next week, I did appreciate your comment. Thanks very much. And then we go down to Shep 3650. Kind of a droid's name, kind of a dog's name. No offence. Sadly, this is going backwards. There will without doubt be lots more accidents on British roads. The government needs to look at the 40,000 drivers in the country that would come back to drive trucks when the nonsense CPC kicked into touch. That's when I've turned my truck in the first time round. When I knew the CPC was coming in, and my mate Dog Groomer Dave turned around to me and he said, we've now got to take a test to say that we can drive the lorry we've been driving for the last 10 years. I went, I'm not doing it, I'm going to get a van. And that's why I jumped down from Shirley to Penny in the first place. Although for the situation I was in, it actually probably done me a favour. I am one of them. And knowing and knowing the EU under-the-counter CPCs that they have had before I patch it all in, all I can say to British truckers is good luck, but sadly you have been sold out again. Yeah, it is a little bit. It is a bit. Oh, truck drivers are wonderful during the pandemic, keeping the country going, brilliant. We're going to pay you all more money. We're going to pay you all it's worth. No, we're not. We're just going to let a load of other people in the dirt on cheap. I don't belittle any of the foreign truck drivers that come in to do the work because they've got families to feed, but they ain't going to be the ones that are going to be making the money. It's all the organisations that ain't going to employ them any more money, are they? It's just a little bit, it's a little bit out of bonk to me. As are many things. AdBlue. Got a bit of a long Sunday Q&A today. This has been interesting. I've learned something. Once again, thanks very much. A couple of people said, right, AdBlue, and I've looked this up. And the AdBlue nozzle, there's a magnet, mate. He said that's the trigger for the fluid to flow. The magnet not lifted, if the magnet's not lifted, welcome the wall of frustration. It's like clink, clink, clink. But now I understand there's like, there's a magnet in the nozzle, so presumably that's around the handle bit where the trigger is. And there's a magnet in the hole where the nozzle goes in. So say that's the magnet is your thumb on the pumping nozzle, and say that's the thing. When that goes in, these two magnets have to touch, and that releases the thing. Right, or more specifically, once again, Nick the Urban Trucker coming to my rescue. He says, hi Pete, inside the neck of the AdBlue tank there's a nozzle. It's a thing called an AdBlue key, which is basically a round magnet. And in the nozzle of the AdBlue pump handle there's another magnet. The two react with each other, and that allows the AdBlue to flow. If you can't get the two close enough, this is when you get the annoying clicking sound on and off of the pump. To get around this, carry a strong magnet with you. When you fill up, hold a magnet in your hand near the trigger, and it should open the flow. I've done it in the past, it's worked for me. The reason why they put the magnet system into the AdBlue filter next to the nozzles was to prevent people putting AdBlue into diesel tanks and other places like radiators and screen wash tanks. Who would be as stupid as that? I filled my first truck up with petrol. Twice. Once could be forgiven. Second is more like carelessness. Actually, once can't be forgiven. It's a truck. Have you ever known a petrol truck? I'm probably some of you have. Probably the army have got them. I don't know. But yeah, so I can understand why they have anti-moron things. So one of them would have been very handy for me if they'd put one on the diesel pump. But it's a good point. And I've actually gone on Amazon, and you can buy them. They're cheap. The cheapest one's like 23 quid. You think that's a lot of money for a magnet. The second one's like 40 odd pound, but it's like a little blue thing that goes around the thing. And as we go on, as Dale Steele says, he says, if you use a lot of AdBlue, you're much better buying a big pallet-sized IBC container with it. I used to buy them when I was running buses. It lasts for ages, and it's much, much cheaper. Yeah, Dale, that's nice, but I haven't got anywhere to put it. Well, we park our lorries. We park our lorries alongside another load of people who also park their lorries. It's kind of bird's nesting there. I can't help it. I can see myself, and I just keep looking at my hair, which is falling out as usual. And if I put the pump there, there's nothing when we're out of work. There's nothing if someone needs AdBlue to go and help himself, Alternatively, the guys next door have got one, so there's nothing stopping me helping myself, but I don't because they're mates. It's not what you do. Having said that, if you can get one, I might buy one of these things. One of the guys did say, it might come down to it. It might be in the future. He said if you get one of the magnet things. Oh, that was right. It was on the review on Amazon. And he said, it's a bit dear for what it is. He said, but you bear in mind, if you buy the AdBlue in a petrol station, it's like it's going to be like 20 quid for 10 litres. If you get it from the pump, it's like £1 a litre. So if you've got a couple of plastic empty things in the back of your van, once you've filled your tank up, get the magnet over, fill the plastic containers as well. The magnets pay for itself in one hit. So I think I'm going to get one and we'll see how it goes. I can make a video about it. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Give me something to do in spare time. Miscellaneous. Excuse me. Anonymous. He says, been watching for years now and I have some golden info for you. He says, FedEx are refusing all bulk collections since yesterday. That is any pallet, any large, odd-shaped, heavy packages that can't be handballed off the truck or lorry and fit down their local depot conveyor belts. Go and get some new customers. So beware anybody who's going into FedEx with large containers that cannot be handballed off. You may well be returned. Having said that, on the exchange, you just ring up the ship and go, they refused it, and then you'd probably get a lucrative exchange rate, or return rate. So in this particular instance, that might well act in our favour. Jeremy Hawke says, Pete, I've been doing this for 30 years now, and I was going to sell up and retire to Greece in a villa, but your videos have made me carry on. It's also very windy in Kefalonia this time of year. Yeah, don't let me stop you, mate. Go to Greece. It sounds lovely. It's very nice. Very hot during the summer. I think personally what you could do is do both. I think if it was me, I'd spend spring and autumn in Greece. Well, probably actually no. I would personally probably spend the winter months, sort of autumn through to spring in Greece, where it's not so freezing and miserable, and then I'd probably spend the summer months here, maybe running around in a van, where it's not so crazy hot that you actually have to run it in your air-conditioned bedroom because you can fry an egg on the floor. But or maybe not. I don't know. Maybe you like the heat. I used to like the heat. Can't do it anymore. Ski Savoli says, hi Pete, thanks for the videos. I followed one of your links on the Courier Exchange to see there are UK to Europe jobs for an extra £20 a month. They're charging for that now. I used to think that was free. I was wondering if there are a decent number of jobs listed. That is assuming you can see these jobs. There's a decent amount listed on Shipley 10 and want rock bottom prices. I just wondered if CX had enough to make it worth its while. All the best, Colin. P.S. Thanks for mentioning the extended Luton Cab idea. Mate, Colin, thank you very much for mentioning the idea. Like I say, this is why we do the forum. This is why we pass the stuff on. I don't know is the answer. I would say for 20 quid a month, I'd take a punt. I would want to enrol, even if it's a year, 240 quid, one job, you probably get your money back. But I don't know if anyone knows better than me what are jobs like on the CX going from UK to Europe. The one thing I will say is the one thing I do know is they don't often sell for as much money as you hope that they would, because a lot of the time they're taken up by foreign nationals who are working and going home. And so they think, well, okay, there's a job here going from Leeds to Germany and I'm off on my way to Hungary, I'll pick it up. I've got to go back to Hungary in a van anyway, so I'll kind of drop it off on my way home. So whereas you think you'll be getting serious dough, and also your chances of then getting a job from Germany back to England are much more remote than they would be if as long as you stick to the top of Europe and the sort of the industrial bit, you're kind of okay. But after you pan out from that, apparently the jobs are few and far between. But as I say, I've never done it. That's just my belief and what I'm based on other people tell me. Those of you out there that know more, please, if you can give Colin a shout and we'll pass the information on as always. Little Scamp says, sound advice, sir. Thank you. I'll be calling Business Choice Direct to make sure you get your... I mentioned you to make sure you get your taste. Thank you very much. They do pay me. I got 50 quid last month, so someone signed up. But yeah, they do. But again, I recommend them because we use them. Corrigan 71. Okay, Pete, what's the most money you've taken in one day in a Luton and in a rigid? Right, in a Luton, most money I took in one day was probably round about 350 quid. These were long days. That was kind of start at 5 doing the fridges, and I finished about 8 at night in not too far away down Watford way, because the jobs just lined up. They literally, I dropped one off and there was one round the corner, and then I dropped one off and there was one round the corner, and there was one going a long way. I had to wait for it for a little while. But yeah, that was one delivery into Luton and one delivery into Bushy. The most money I took in, other than that, this kind of, having said that, there's a Street Fighter job. The Street Fighter job was worth over like 750 quid, maybe £700. But that wasn't quite in one day, because I picked it up the evening of the day before, and then I worked all day, and then I dropped it off the following morning. In a lorry, the most money I've taken in one day, now there's a difference between most money I've taken in one day and most money I've taken in one day and got home, was a piano. I took £1,000, and that was the job where I went to Wales. I basically finished in Caerphilly Castle, outside Superdrug at 7 o'clock at night, and I had to go and get myself a hotel, but still, piano. Recently, I've managed to bring in 850 in a truck in a day, but that is starting in Slough at 3:15 in the morning, and then managing to get 3 jobs in on, and then you're kind of up against it. See, it's different with a van. With a van, you can keep running. As long as you're fit, you can keep running. With a truck, you're up against taco rules, driving hours, and all that kind of stuff. So you're on the clock. It's kind of your time is running out. But I have managed to do it twice recently, that kind of money, and my God, it's very well received, and I'm very grateful for it. I'm slowly clawing my way back to life. It's brilliant. Domain name guy, because we're on best fans. Best van for longer items is a Merc Sprinter or a VW, well, because we did one on specialist vans rather, or a VW Crafter drop side van, which can carry 6 metre lengths despite having a 4 metre-ish flatbed for delivering metal, either sheet, tube, stuff like that. The way you do it, 1 metre behind, 1 metre, 2 metre, 3 metre, 4 metre, up to that, built from headboard to the floor. 5 metre lengths are loaded from the headboard and stick out the back, just 1 metre, and 6 metre lengths are loaded from the rear and tied to the frame and stick out over the cab, so kind of like an angle like that, which means when empty can take pallets, but the drop side van is a very versatile little van. Oh yeah, I'll give you that. You know, if you had a drop side van, you want to be scanning certain. Maybe I would be scanning for 7.5 ton jobs. And if the right one come up going, what are you driving mad though? What is it? It's 6 pallets. I can't do it. What is it? I can't do it. But you will get the one where it's like it's a load of tubing, and you go, I can do tubing, or I can do it cheaper. But I think with the drop side van, you with any specialist vehicle, you're much better off trying to find someone who wants that specialist vehicle. It's not really a CX thing. But thanks for the tips, mate, as always. And the Urban Trucker again, he says with a he's just bought, because we did one on the extended bed, didn't we? The 5 metre extended bed. He said, I've just bought a curtain side van with a tail lift. It can take 8 standard pallets or 10 Euro pallets. The dimensions of the body are roughly 4 metres long, 2.4 metres wide and 2.4 metres high. So he's kind of got it on the width. He said, I weighed it today with a pump truck straps, a full tank of diesel and me, and it came in at 2,380 kilos. So it's got a payload of 1120, which I thought was good, mate. I think that's phenomenal. Most Luton vans can probably only carry about 150 kilos if they're honest. To get 1,200 kilos, I mean, don't get me wrong, if it can take 8 standard pallets, then pallets ain't going to be out of weight much, are they? You kind of got to weigh like 100 kilos each, but it does happen. 8 pallets of foam, 8 pallets of empty plastic containers that we've got down at Milton Brown. I done that last week. So yeah, it was only 6 in fairness. So no, I think you've got a very versatile little vehicle, mate. I know how much you paid for it as well because we spoke on the phone, and well done you. On trucks, Rem Bell. We do a little truck thing now. For big trucks, the best sat nav is a Garmin, as you're able to set the size of the truck. I know a few of them do that. The free one on the phone does that. TomTom does that. My issue is you set the size of the truck and then they take you down under like a 3 foot bridge anyway. 3 foot, that would be very small. A 3 metre, 3.5 metre bridge anyway, just because they do. I will one day, if I ever get in a big boy truck, do you a proper review. In the meantime, I'm still using Waze. Team Elite UK. Hi Pete, I'm just thinking of starting out and watching to get an 18 ton truck. Do you think I should get a curtain sider or a box? I would say curtains every time. Curtain sider, DAF, 18 ton, tuck under tail lift is the most versatile trucks for the amount of jobs you do on the CX. You can do 75%, 80% of the jobs that come up on the CX in that vehicle. I would say of all jobs that come up on the CX in that vehicle, although why you would run an envelope in an 18 ton truck, I don't know. Yeah, you want to do the search between 7.5 ton and 18 ton. Because I don't even search for Lutons anymore. It's much more worth me waiting. If there's a Luton job but not a truck job, I'm better off waiting for the truck job than I'm doing the Luton job. Bellsization says, we're on trucks again. A DAF will come up with an engine check light but won't grind to a stop like a Volvo or a Renault due to their computer systems. This is important because if you have a trailer full of frozen goods that are time critical, stopping because a silly computer system is not an option. Yeah, we had it with Harry this week. The blue light, the puffy thing come on. It's come on for me as well, and it just is an orange light, and you kind of go, mine just come on and go off. And it came on for a little while. I spoke to the mechanic. He went, it's now blue light. It's nothing to worry about. It's an orange light. You're fine. Then it just cleared itself. Maybe it's done a DPF run out or something. Once again, anyone who knows anything more about blue lights in DAFs, really not my thing, that. But comments, please. Coming to an end, guys. And that's been a long one today. Investigative News says, regarding the O licence, good video, Pete. Is there a medical? I would appreciate your advice. Not for the O licence. You need medical if you want your CPC licence. To drive a lorry, you need a medical, but for an O licence, you don't need to be healthy to run lorries because you're not the one that's going to suffer from a heart attack when they crash into a wall. You can be sitting behind a desk controlling the lorries, and if you have a heart attack, everyone still driving the lorry is safe. So no medical for the O. Mr. Bruce said the meaning of XXX, not HHH, was, I think we did that one last week with picking fruit. I did have it on hammers, Mr. Bruce, because I was picking fruit. Admittedly, I only put it on hammers when I started picking fruit. I did have a little rest first to give myself 15 minutes worth of driving time, give me a jump on the day. As for hammers worth his bed, when do you put it on? When it suits you. Shona taught me that, one of my first female truck drivers. The first female truck driver. Yeah, we'll do one on that, I think. I'm going to go back and I was going to make marks of all the videos I've got to do. Completely forgot. Just remembered now at the end. Great. Only done 40 minutes. Andy Darwin says, this is going BK driving 7.5 tonners again. Yeah. 7.5 tonners again. The tacho is putting me off. Is it easy to use? Yes. With the tacho cards, it's a doddle now. Admittedly, at first, I was a bit like, oh, what's going on? I'll do you a video on how tachos work. I'm sure there's a million videos out there, but I'll do one as well. Gerhim Jort says, can you do a video on how to load loose heavy boxes on a curtain side? I could, mate, but the problem is everyone is different. It's like, say Harry had to carry 8 pallets of bricks. How do you strap bricks? It's fine if they actually come in the proper plastic, but someone had broken the plastic out of them and they were kind of split pallets. You can shrink wrap them before you put them on. You've got to do a lot of shrink wrapping. Sometimes I had to carry a pallet with 7 concrete curbs on. I mean, you can put the pallet. You just got to use your common sense, put it across, strap it round. You know, there are ways, but at the end of the day, all you try and use your imagination, use your common sense. Do the best you possibly can. I can show you, you know, I also had to carry 2 pallets full of toothpaste. So I have to confess, I put them down the middle to balance them up better. Got to Waitrose, looked at the bulge inside of my curtain and went, oh, that's not supposed to be there. Fortunately with Waitrose, they keep you waiting a long time before they put you on a bay, which gave me 3/4 of an hour to restack the 2 pallets of toothpaste and re-shrink wrap them with the shrink wrap I carry in the back. Otherwise, they looked like one look at the load and went, we ain't accepting that. Don't get me wrong, the toothpaste was fine. The packages were fine. The pallets had gone absolutely doolally. And in conclusion, sorry, it doesn't happen often. I've only ever had to pay for 1 load in all the time I've done it because I dropped 2 stools. That was it. In conclusion, Dean 9050. He says, this is one he watched this week. He said, here's a good one for you, Pete. I was driving home off nights in my car at 6 a.m. when an Arctic in front of me blew 2 tyres and then the wheels came off and started bouncing down the dual carriageway. Couldn't believe what I was seeing. Luckily, no injuries. Guys, if you're on a truck, check your nuts. Actually, in fairness, that's not going to help you with a blower, isn't it? Sometimes these things happen. But, yeah, that's it. So, there's one coming. Don't forget the changes to the LEZ happen a week Monday. So the LEZ is expanding. There's going to be some YouTube shorts coming out. That's about it. Thanks for listening. Thank you very much, all of you, for all your wonderful comments and all your subscriptions. It is truly appreciated. And you know what to do. Take care. Take money.